This information comes from the glossary, so we'd like to encourage you to open in your glossary, page 1695. The thought of their talk is, where was Chaldea and who were the Chaldeans? Their setting is a parent reasoning with a child. Sister Olive, please.
Lyra, remember last week in book study when we were learning about Abraham, you said you had a question, and I said we would talk about it later.
Yeah, I thought Abraham was from Ur, but then someone said that he came from Chaldea.
Well, you're right. Abraham was from the city of Ur, but the Bible also talks about Abraham coming from Chaldea. In fact, the scripture I think you're talking about is found in Acts chapter 7. So why don't we read that scripture again? It's Acts chapter 7. And do you want to read verse 4, please?
Then he went out of the land of the Chaldeans and took up residence of Haran.
Very good. So I can understand how it could be kind of confusing. But I think something that would help would be for us to maybe look at the map and find out where Chaldea was. And maybe that will help us to understand why sometimes the Bible says that Abraham was from Ur and sometimes why he was from Chaldea. Okay? So let's go to the back of our Bibles to the map area. And if we look for B2, this will give us the map of the area where Abraham lived. Okay, very good. Now, do you remember from book study, what was the name of the big river that Abraham crossed?
The Euphrates River.
Right, very good. So if you notice, that's kind of on the right side of the map. Did you find it?
Yeah.
Okay, so take your finger and let's follow the river all the way down until it comes to a dot. What do you see at the bottom of the page?
Is that Ur?
Right, that was a city that Abraham lived in. Okay? And then up above is another little city called Ur. And then right above that in big letters, what word do you see?
Chaldea.
Right, very good. And then above Chaldea, you see there's another little blue squiggly line, which is a river. Okay, what's the name of that river?
The Tigris River.
Right, very good. Back in Bible times, that whole area between the two rivers of the Tigris River and the Euphrates River was called Chaldea. We might compare that to the state of California. Right? California is a big land area, right, from Mexico all the way up to Oregon, right? And Santa Maria is a little specific town in California, right? Now, could we say that Lyric is from Santa Maria? Yeah. Huh. Could we say Lyric's also from California?
Yeah.
It would both be true, right? And that's the same way with Abraham. Some Bible writers chose to say that Abraham was from the specific city of Ur, where other Bible writers chose to say he was from Chaldea, or the area between those two rivers. Does that make sense?
Yeah, now it does.
Good. You know, the people of that area were also very smart. They studied math and history and science, and also the stars. Since we have our Bibles, let's turn to one more scripture in Daniel chapter 4 to see what that knowledge of the stars led them to get involved in, though. Okay, that's Daniel chapter 4, and notice verse 7. It says, at that time, the magic practicing priests, the conjurers, and the Chaldeans, and the astrologers came in. Now, this is when King Nebuchadnezzar had a dream, and he was asking people to come and tell him what the dream meant. And you notice it said he called in the magic practicing priests and the Chaldeans. Now, you notice there's like a little star next to that word, which means there's a footnote, which is going to give us a hint as to what that word means, okay? So if you go down to the bottom of the Bible, do you want to read that footnote?
That is a group skilled in divination and astrology.
Right, very good. So the Chaldeans had gotten involved in magic and in trying to tell the future. Now, how do you think Jehovah felt about them?
Well, I guess he just doesn't like that stuff.
You're right. Now, do you know why he doesn't like that?
No.
Well, it's important that we know why Jehovah doesn't like certain things, right? It will help us to not do that. And I remember the second Caleb video talked about why magic and this kind of stuff was wrong. So why don't we watch it again, and that will refresh our memory.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
Alma and Lyric, thank you very much. You both did a wonderful job. Now, you were working on conversational style of speech. And what's interesting about conversational style is that the book says that it puts your audience at ease and helps them to receive what you say. And I appreciate it near the end of your talk that instead of trying to talk over Lyric's head, you talked about something you knew she would understand. So we're going to watch the video to make sure you understand it. You didn't scold her and say, you should know this by now. Instead, you made sure that you came down to her level. And conversational also shows that we're speaking the way we normally speak. So it's sincere and it reaches the heart. So you did an excellent job with that. We thank you. And Lyric, you did a wonderful job too. Thank you very much. Now we're moving to talk number